What is your partner's strangest request while having sex? Had an ex request I wake her up from time to time with sex. Every time I did she got highly upset with me that I woke her up. She wanted me to tie her tightly and then lay another girl on top of her so she could feel every thrust, but no, none of them were for her. I was never able to make that happen, but I'd be lying if I said I haven't thought about that a lot. Edit, Godspeed, why perverts? Edit 2, Google Trends data from the past 4 hours. Edit 3, we're not together anymore, but I let her know this story blew up. She's good, embarrassed, and wanted me to tell you all that she's happy to have inspired your next perversion. Edit 4, by about a 1000-2100 updates. This is my most popular Reddit comment of all time, beating out the story about getting the pastor's daughter pregnant. This would forever alter my porn searches. You should definitely never Google kook queening then. I assume that is the female version of cuckolding. You would be correct. There goes my evening. Asked me to roleplay as a Nazi and demanded I insult her with ever increasingly anti-Jewish slurs, then at one point suddenly said I'd gone too far and left and broke up with me. I wasn't even into it, she'd had to talk me into it in the first place. It is kind of ironic that you were just following orders. I was fine when she wanted to have sex on her mother's bed. I was fine with it, even though her mom was home at the time. Her mom walking in on us wasn't a deal breaker. Turns out she was using me as some weird revenge thing with her mom. Damn, mom must have ducked someone on her bed first. Lamau. Mother ducker. She wanted to call me by a different name. I later found out that it was her brother's name. One night things are getting hot and heavy and I want my fiancé to dirty talk as it turns me on. He is going at it when I blurt out, "Talk to me like I'm your sex doll." He just paused and said I wouldn't talk to a sex doll and started laughing. Ah, memories. Edit, I meant to say dirty talk to me, but clearly my brain wasn't working at the moment. I had a girl ask me to talk dirty to her once and I didn't know what to say, so I mumbled, "Duck, you?" Lamau. I was once requested to hold a knife up to my partner's throat. I offered to buy a prop knife rather than the real one she was showing me. There are knives that are made specifically for this act. It is obviously a terrible idea to use a real one. Once had a partner ask me to hold a gun to her head. Yes, she wanted it loaded. She wanted to feel like she was in danger. I said no. She wanted to feel like she was in danger. Can't you just introduce her to options trading instead? Hey, at least with the gun there is a chance you won't duck up. To hum happy birthday on his cock on his birthday. Sounds festive. I dated a girl once that insisted that we try to sleep together all night with my dick still inside her. She just wanted to charge. This was my ex-girlfriend. She would pretend to be a Russian masseur at a sketchy parlor who gives me a oil massage and then asks for money for a happy ending. She smokes a cigarette and gets on top, and acts totally uninterested and bored while I have to act like it's the greatest sex ever. We did this probably 30 times over the span of a 2-year relationship. Plot twist, it wasn't an act. He just went to the same parlor 30 times and thought it was a relationship. I've had to draw the line with certain girls asking me to choke or slap beyond my comfort level, but a girl asking me to talk to her in a comforting voice like I had just found her in a car wreck, while ducking her, takes the cake. I gave it a shot, but I couldn't keep a straight face. She wanted you to talk to her like Bob Ross talks to his audience. Oops, that ended a little quickly. Just another happy accident. Let's put something else in here. Everyone needs a friend. A girl once asked me to hurt her, so I pinched her and she was like? Lamau. I had never engaged in rough sex at that point. She was like, no, hit me, hurt me, and when I went Tina Belcher going ooh, she climbed off. Another girl wanted to do knife play, but I was like, no, I'm too clumsy, I'll stab one of us. But I always laugh about me pinching that girl when I was like 20 because it's probably the most wholesome and naive I've ever been. The first time a man ever asked me who's your daddy, I was probably 17 or 18 and really only knew basic sex ed. No real world experience to speak of at that point, but I had an understanding of how sex worked, what I was doing by then. I tell you that to tell you this. My confused ass looked this man dead in the face and gave him my father's full name. First, middle, last suffix and all. I laugh about it now because that's the most naive I've ever been. At 14, me and my girlfriend were getting handsy during a make-out session. She had gotten her hand in my pants already. My hyper-virgin ass got brave and decided to whip out the hog. She looked at it, looked at me, and coyly said, "Put that up before I put it to use, duckin' right back where you came from, good buddy. Zip up. Call it a day." She said, "Put it up, it's getting put up." It took me forever to read the look she gave me, but now I know it was. I have no one to blame but myself for this. I look back and shudder in embarrassment, but damn if that wasn't the most naive virgin thing I ever did. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. Take a cold shower, get out, immediately lie face down, make no noise, do not move. Took me way too long to realize he was a closet necrophiliac. Did you ever suddenly pop up and groan brr a 5 ins? Co-u-c-c-c-c-c-c-c-x. Not my partner but me. Once when I was getting down and dirty with my boyfriend, and we were in the middle of some heavy foreplay, and just about to start the actual intercourse part of it, I was just so fascinated by how erect he was, so I asked him if I could hang a hanger on it. Strangely enough, he obliged. He drew the line when I asked if I could add clothes to the hanger to see how much weight he could hold XD. She wanted it in a picnic table in a park at night. No one was around, so we weren't flashing anyone. But the weird part was this raccoon who walked up, stood on its hind legs to see what we were doing. Seemed to figure it out. Kind gave a little raccoon smirk and walked away. It was kind of weird being a porn actor for a raccoon. And it was kind of weird watching you two duck on my favorite picnic table, but I guess it worked out for all of us in the end. Raccoon full of concerned face. It's not too late to delete this account and repent your wild ways. After reading this thread I learn, my sex life has been utterly vanilla and I'm fine with it. Can you say quack? Quack ? Yes, but like a sexy quack, like you're a sexy duck? Actual quote, mid one night stand, can you let my dogs in? They like to watch. TBF, they were a pair of golden retrievers. Did you let them watch? I mean, golden retrievers. As long as they don't try to fetch the balls. In the middle of having sex, my ex-girlfriend requested that we play hide and seek. I was not amused at first. She explained that once I found her, she wanted me to force myself into her. Safe word I believe was fire truck. She had a 3-story house and we would start in the master bedroom. Once I found her and penetrated, she would immediately stop resisting and we would put her feet behind her head. I became very fond of hide and seek. She would resist and fight, but once I hit the objective it was super intense. That sounds like it would depend on how good she is at hiding. I'm imagining myself 20 minutes later, utterly confused, completely limp and just scratching my head like, wait, where the duck did she go? Like John Travolta but just limp dicking it around lol. I once had a girlfriend that would want me to surprise her by waking her up on some random nights by sucking her toes. Hey, guaranteed sex. It's all fun and games until someone loses a tooth, or a toe. My girlfriend brought deli meats in for foreplay. She wanted to surround my junk in sliced ham and eat off while performing oral. I remember her feeling dejected that I couldn't stay aroused. It should have been pastrami. The most sensual of all the salted, cured meats. I wish you had 2 dicks. Her subtle way of telling me she wanted a threesome. Eventually she told me the only way she could get off was with 2 guys. Did she tell you their names? Day and Troy?